Hello, good afternoon, welcome. Nice to see you all again. Today I wanted to work on Bagel's quilt, finishing it, um, the quilt top, and um, and see how it goes. I gotta go turn on the light. It's too dark in here. I know that sounds so unprofessional, but anyway. There, I think that's better. Okay, I think that's better. I'm trying out something new here, and I have a light. I will have a microphone when it charges, but anyway, I'm trying out something new today, just to give me more light and for you to see me. Because watching my past two videos, it was a little dark, so bear with me. I'm just learning. Anyway, so let's get started. So as if you watched my last two videos, I were working on the bagel quilt, so I just want to get finished on that. I have added some sashing between the blocks and the and her face, and add a little bling when I am totally done sewing this quilt top together. Then I'll go back and embroidery a ring and a hook or something like it is. And those bones, I'm going to iron those on. Those are I cut those out of some brown fabric I had, so that'll just kind of make it look a little, prettier with the dog bones. So anyway, let's get started. I'm gonna have to take these off because they're just on here for right now. And I still need to put some fusible web on them. Hadn't got that far. It was just a layout that I did, and I thought, wow, I like that layout. So that's where we're at. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this sashing here. I really like these work boards. You can really see it better than, if you lay it down or on your table, whatever. So anyway, I'm going to sew these on. Now I know, I need to change that quick. I just got done working on some purses, so I had the zipper foot on there, but the last two videos, when I worked on it, I had talked about the shadow marks between the ear and the head. Now, after thinking about it, I think that if I would compensate with the squares to work in those shadows, like making the square instead of 2.5 by 2.5, if I had taken off that half and added in that square, or in the line, so the shadow line, that's what I'm talking about. And that shadow line, I ended up cutting it, and I ended up sewing a piece. Well, let me show you here. So this right here, this was one long pattern, one long strip. So what I did was I cut it, and then I sewed it onto this one, and this one to this one, this one to this one, this one, so on. Okay, and then I sewed this end to that one. Now thinking about it, if I would have compensated with this one, I think all these blocks would have matched up perfectly. But I didn't compensate because I didn't have the pattern, but I think that's what they did when they made this. That's my thinking. I could be wrong, but it takes me a while to think about what I'm how I'm going to get it together and get it going. So anyway, I don't know if that makes sense. And I have a confession to make. I don't know what it is. It must be because I'm old. I don't know. And I know you're probably saying don't say that, but anyway, she never had a red collar. And I know I was making a big deal about that, and there again, I didn't even think about it until that night after the second video I made. And I said, Bagel never had a red collar either. It was a blue collar. Oh well, I'm not going to redo it and put a blue collar in. Just like, and it's funny because I saw a picture of a Labrador, a yellow lab, and it was a younger one. It was in the back seat of a car. And I said, oh my gosh, that looks so much like Bagel. It was Bagel, you know, the brown eyes, the brown snout. It looked just like her when she was younger. And I said, oh look, she's got a red collar like Bagel did. Bagel never had a red. It was blue. Probably that's why everybody thought she was a male. Oh gosh, I don't know what's happening to me. Oh gosh. I know I could have kept my mouth shut and just left it and went with that, but I had to clear the air. Because I know somebody is coming that I know and say, she never had a red collar, Joan. Okay, what's going on? Oh, you know what? Yeah, it's plugged in. What's going on? Why aren't you working? Maybe if I try a little harder. Oh, what's going on? Oh, that's what it was. I was winding the bobbin and I left this thing closed on the bobbin, and that's why it wasn't running. Okay, I think we got it now. Yes, we do. Yay. This Juki doesn't like to backstitch too much, so, and it's a great one. I'll do the lever. So I didn't do that with my foot. There's a little lever here. If you all have Jukis, you know. Anyway, so I started the sash. See, all right. So I do have my iron on, and I did lower my ironing board so I don't have to move. And I'll turn my iron on. And I'll grab the next two. Now, I don't have much foot space here, so sorry for my back. I don't have much foot space, and my chair does go all the way around, so that's why I'm always twirling around in this chair. Plus, the chair is pretty heavy, so it's hard to move. So I'm going to sew these two together. And these two. While I wait for that one to iron to heat up. So I hope your day's going to look good. Mine is. So far. We've had little storm action going on outside. It's not really that bad. In fact, I had to go out today for a little bit. I didn't get to go to my favorite store, but I had a doctor appointment, so I had to go that. And I thought it was going to be really cold out, you know, because it's overcast and rainy and stuff. You go outside and it's like 70 degrees out. It's like, what am I wearing a jacket for? Anyway. As you can see, I'm sewing it together with black thread. I don't know why. I just am. I guess because the sashing is black. I guess it doesn't matter. Hopefully. And there we are. Let's see. So I am going to iron this. And iron these two. And I am going to put it back up on the board. You know, I don't know whoever invented this board thing, but it sure came out like really handy. I really like working on it. Sure beats working on the floor. All right, so I'm gonna sew these sashings on here to this one. My quilts usually take me a while to do them. Although I do have a lot of other things going on too. Of course, you know, we have our lives with our families. So I had just made another video earlier, and I was talking about the different quilts that I've made in the past 2 years, or a year and a half actually, and how long they take. You're gonna sew good. I might have to switch machines. Some of the bigger quilts that I've made, of course, took months. It's like the first quilt I made and started it in June, and I didn't finish it till October. I guess that's pretty quick. Some people, you know, a lot of people do their quilts by hand, and I don't. I do have mine going on by hand downstairs. Actually, I finished the quilt top. I just need to now bring it up here and show you and finish it off. They used to take a long time, you know, planning it. Planning out the quilt, because I have to go through a lot of books, and this quilt just kind of came about with me. I was actually kind of in between quilts because I had just finished all my quilts, and so I was just started this one, and it was actually, I was going to make it for my daughter, but then she took forever to pick out her colors. So okay, I'm just going to sew these together like this. This together. That was the hard part, to get this, because I just kind of put it here. So I think what I'm going to do is sew all this together here, and then sew, well, maybe I'll sew this one on. I'll just sew this one to this one, and I'll sew those down. I'm trying to do it in a pattern. Because the picture of Bagel, the dog, is in the middle, and I want to put sashing all around her. I looked at it earlier, and I thought, well, how am I going to put this together so it all kind of lines up? But I'm thinking if I sew all the blocks together somewhat, and then sew the sashing around. I think it'll all fit. I hope. See if I can do this. Get it all done and quickly. All right. This here. Like this. Some people, what I've learned that have made boards like that on their walls, I think they use like a foam core and then they put felt over it. And with mine, I have these boards. They're really old. They're cardboard. You could get them like, I don't know when they came out. I don't even know if they have dates on them, but they have lines on it. You know, it looks like it's a cutting board and it's a layout board. And so I had one, and then I came across two more, and I thought, well, that would be perfect to put up on my walls, and then I can just put felt over them. So that's how I made mine. It works. My husband goes, "You're not going to nail those into the wall, are you?" And I said, well, how am I going to get them to stay there? So I nailed them up. You know, and he always has to go his way in doing things, but it didn't stay up for very long. So I just went ahead and grabbed a bunch of nails and pounded them in, and it's up there now. So it works. We're not too professional when it comes to maintenance or building. Although we did pretty good on our chicken coops. I mean, our coop and our fencing. We've done pretty good on that. And we're working on our garden, our vegetable garden this year. I have a lot of plants planted. Well, I have 2 rows of potatoes planted, and I have long beans planted, which I love long beans because they're like that long when they grow. And then I'll pick them. They look like ropes, and they have a better flavor than a regular string bean that you can buy in the store or you grow. I like them. It's a milder flavor, and I don't eat them raw though. But I do a lot of stir fry cooking and stews. You can use them just like cooking string beans. So what I do is I parboil and put them in ice and then in the freezer, and they stay wonderful. So that's what I do with those. Okay, well, that didn't work good. Oh well. Who's gonna know, right? Let me see, how's this one go? Yeah, well, oh well, we'll just do it this way. Should have turned my squares, so. I looked at my board, but I didn't. Okay. Maybe I won't make this mistake this time. Alright, so we'll have the same mistake. I'm not going to redo it. I mean, I guess I could. Redo it. Now, this one has to go this way because of the red. So my goal is to get this whole thing sewed together within a half an hour. You can start timing me, although I've been filming for a bit, huh? So I am planning to do a new quilt, and I know I've talked about it. I do a lot of talking, and it's going to be an applique quilt, and it's going to be a tree. And I've decided And I've never done it before. I've never done this pattern before. But it's going to, I'd like to make it as a collage quilt. And a collage quilt is where you take, it's kind of like a fusible web, but it has paper on it. And all the fabrics you're going to use in this quilt, you put it on this fabric. I'll get this. I'll just give you a brief idea. So anyway, this is it. And then what you do is you put all your fabric on these sheets, which I'm going to need to get more and more, but and then as you work, you cut out, pieces, and it's sticky, and you lay it on to your fabric. That's one way of doing it. The other way that I'm thinking about doing it is taking a picture of it, because I'm going to do a tree. So I'm going to take a picture of a tree. I am going to make a copy of that picture in black and white on my printer. And then I'm going to use a light board, which I have, and it lights up, and so you can draw out your pattern. And then you use your collage fabrics that have this on them. So this is what it looks like. And you put your fabric all over that, like one color, right? And then you use values, so you go light, medium, dark. And however the sun is going to shine on your tree is obviously where you put light, and then your medium and your dark. So that's my plan. I've never done it before, like I said, so it's going to be new, but I think it's really cool. I didn't know if I wanted to go that way or if I just wanted to do like a regular applique quilt on the, just a regular applique. But I like to challenge myself, so that's why I'm doing it that way. See if I can do it. If I can't do it, and I can't figure it out, then I will just go with a regular applique. But I really want to try it. And so I just bought a book today on how to do what I want to do with the collage and how to get your values and from light, medium, dark. And I thought I could go out and take a picture of my tree out front to get it started. So we'll see how it goes. But that's my next project. In between making more purses. Oh, gosh. And stubbing my toe. So. Anyway. Okay, let's see if I got this one right. No, it didn't. Is this where it goes? I think that one goes that way, doesn't it? Maybe it goes this way. That would be kind of cool, but I don't think it does. I think it goes this way. See, I don't even remember how I put this together myself. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is going to take this one off and redo it because I made a mistake, and it should be it should be turned. So I'm gonna turn it the right way. Hopefully we can get this done. I didn't even... Yes, I made a mistake here on TV. That's why I didn't backspace. So I can get it right. Just in case I had to do this. Rip out. But I think we all have a tendency of making mistakes once in a while. Are you planting a garden this year? I have these arrow gardens. I don't know if you ever heard about that. Those are they're hydroponics, so the seeds grow in water, and then when they sprout and they're tall enough, then I transplant them into soil. And so I have like 20 tomato plants right now. And they're all about this tall. I waited this year. The first year we moved to Georgia, because we've always done gardening. And so the first year, I thought it was November. And I thought, oh, I got to get on the seeds. I got to start growing my plants. I mean, you know, Georgia's a different weather. And I thought, well, if I get my seeds going, I can get my plants because, you know, when you go to the nursery, you'll see tomatoes, full-grown tomatoes, or tomatoes in pots, all ready to plant and all that. And so that's where I wanted to go with it. Well, the problem is when you start them that early, the tomato plant will peak, and it'll, you know, it'll have all its tomatoes, and then the tomato plant's no good. It depends on the type of tomato too. There is some tomato plants that will bloom or grow tomatoes all year round, or all season, and then there's other ones will just make their tomatoes, and that's it. So I learned that too. But anywho, so I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna start these tomato plants early so I can get a jump start on it. Well, I did, and of course, like I said, they they put out their tomatoes, and then that was it. And then we didn't have any more tomatoes that year, and then we ended up buying tomatoes. Oh gosh, so pin down here. Ooh. I think that's a pin. Well, I guess not. Anyway, so and I, like, for the past 2 years I did that, and my friend would go, your tomatoes, or, you know, I mean, she hadn't even bought her tomatoes yet, but she lives in the Northwest. So this year I did wait. I waited till February to get my seeds going in my arrow garden. I did wait a little bit longer this time.
The room temperature is 76 degrees Fahrenheit.
I thought that was the least I could do. Okay, I think that's gonna work. Okay, so let's sew this together. So we're gonna sew these together. I like this chair. I like to spin around in it. My other chair, we got this chair at a secondhand store. It's like $15. Pretty cool. And then my neighbor bought me that chair when I first, and that was cool too. They both spin. They're both on wheels, and they're both very comfortable. And I have 2 sewing machines here now, so I have a Viking, and that's that works excellent. I don't have all the parts, but it still works good. So, okay, so that's how that goes. Hopefully I did it right. So instead of moving one chair around, I think it goes this way. Instead of moving one chair around back and forth, I just have two now. I'm kind of more professional. Okay. So let's see. Let's get these on. These together. I made a bunch of these plaid or these checkerboard type squares, but I'm not going to use them. I'll just use them in another quilt or make zipper bags out of them or something. Stay there, don't fall off. Okay, so that goes that way. Okay. This is kind of like that maze I had made for my grandson, in a sense. That one I had to also put up on my board. You know, and I noticed too, the last movie I made, video, I kept on saying graft this, graft that. It's actually a pattern. I thought, geez, Joan, get it together. Get that. So yeah, it was a pattern. I make the pattern on a graph paper. Jeez. I know you're probably going, what's wrong with that gal? But, you know, we have those days where we can't get it together. Okay. Okay, so this is where we're at. I'll sew these two together. Like this. I know it's up and down, up and down, up and down, but so here I go. Excuse my back. Okay. See. Okay. Oop, it's under. Thunder. I just heard it. I don't know if you heard that. Okay, so this is where we're at. So what I'm going to do is just sew the outer lines on and then the top lines, I'm thinking, and then I'll sew everything together, I guess. Normally, you know, I'll just do it and see how it flies. See how I'm not going to minor my corners. It's just going to, it's going to be there. It's going to be there. made this long enough to meet up with those. These says Bagel right there. Those are just those iron-on lettering. What am I stuck to? Oh, right here. Oop. No, now I did it. Now I messed myself up good. I was going to, if I could find my, guess I can't find it. Okay, I gotta stand back up again. So here's the face. I just need to figure out how far away I can, I need to match this here. So I'll just put a pin here. So I know where to start sewing on this. All right, so let's check that again. And go right here. I guess I could use my chalk pen, that would work, huh? And then I'm not gonna use my chalk pen, I'll just use this. Ouch. Hurt myself. Okay, I think I got it. So all these fabrics that I use, the majority, except for the white, I have bought at a secondhand store. Oh, it's gonna have to go all the way this way. It's kind of like a Goodwill, but it's not. And and I find some great bargains. And I think like 1 yard is $1. Half a yard is 50 cents. The most I spend, I mean, it could be 10 yards and it's only cost me 5. So I don't know, whoever's pricing, I don't know, but it's a good deal. I'm not going to complain. So the majority of my quilts that I use and I make is from my pile, my stack. And I have a ton of them. I asked my husband today when I went to the doctor's. I had to go because I'm allergic to fire ants. And I have to get a weekly shot. So I just run in, get a shot, and leave. And but we usually go by the secondhand store, either before I get my shot or after. But we haven't been there for 2 weeks. And I am just like, why, you know, I said, why didn't we go to the fabric store? Why didn't we go to the secondhand store today? And he says, well, you know, because he had something else to do, and you wanted to do filming. So, oh, I said, yeah, I know, I'm missing out on all the good stuff, I think. Yeah, I haven't been there in 2 weeks, believe it or not. So, anyway. Okay. All right, I'm going to get this last one on. Let's see how is it gonna go? Because I kind of just winged it here. I usually do. And so I'm going to start it up here, the very top, like that. Hopefully that's what we want to do. And hopefully this works. So yeah, you just go in there and they have all the fabric in a folded up in squares, and they're taped with masking tape, and then it has a price on it. And yeah, I can get some really good bargains there. I really like going there. I'm gonna ask them if I can bring my phone in and just record the fabrics, if they have any fabrics that day. You know, sometimes I think I score like once a month on a basket full of fabrics. And I know it kind of sounds like I'm a pig, but I remember one time I went in, and I think I've told the story before, but one time I went in to look to see if there was any fabrics. Oh, there was. Actually, yeah, there was. And no, I guess there wasn't at the time. There was a few, but things that I would not normally use. And I was talking to her, I go, where's all the fabrics? And she said, well, she says, this kind of store is you got to buy what you see, or it's not going to be here tomorrow. So that's what I do now. If it's cotton and I can use it, I'm going to buy it. So, yeah. And sometimes it might have a polyester blend, but anyway, I still use it. You know, nowadays the cottons kind of almost feel like they have a little bit of polyester in them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this quilt on my own, the quilt top on my own, and then I will sandwich it with some batting. I'm going to use leftover batting, and I will sew that together and put a backing on it, and it'll be done. So the next time you see it, it'll be all done, and it'll be hanging on my wall. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me and visiting with me. I know that in the past, when you would turn on my videos, you would see me say, you know, different names of my channel. I started off with Coffee with Joan, but it just didn't work. I thought it would be kind of cool, but it didn't work. And then I went to Quilting Club, and that sort of kind of jumped around. I couldn't see a quilting club, although I think they're really cool, especially for my channel. I just couldn't see it. And so I stayed with Joan's Sewing Room, and I had gotten a plaque from my son for Christmas, and that's what's on my door. So I figured that would fit, because not only do I quilt, I make purses, and I paint, and I do embroidery, and I do beadwork, and I do whatever. And now I'm going to be working with collage patterns. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. I've had a great time, and if you like my program, please like, and press the bell. There's a bell um, that and subscribe. Anyway, you know the word. Can't get it out today. Anyway, thanks a lot, and I will see you next time. Bye.